Hello everybody, John here from the Sports Department going over tonight's two-game LPL slate. I won't waste too much of your time on this one. Just wanted to get the stats out there and talk about just a couple quick points. The first matchup of the night's JDG minus 1400. They're 11-4 on the season, up against OMG, who is plus 700, 3-11 on the season. The important note for this matchup is obviously JDG just crushes all the metrics. I mean, they only have a small advantage in Herald, and they're behind in First Blood, but they're clearly a significantly better team than OMG. The interesting point with this matchup is OMG's AD carry is not in the pool for tonight, so not only are they clearly going to be the lowest owned team with the worst chance of winning, but also they're missing their primary player in the pool. Just makes it really, really hard to play OMG. For the huge fields, I feel like you could get a couple OMGs in there, but it's going to make this slate just not very exciting to play, I feel. I think this is going to be a tough slate to really find yourself like making good money on, just because there's just so few ways you can build this slate and have it be any good. This is such a lopsided matchup, and then even if you wanted to try to play OMG, missing out on their biggest player, their AD carry, is a rough spot to be in. The second match is the more interesting one, Sunning at minus 385. They're 8-6 on the season, up against BLG, plus 265, and they are 6-8 on the season. Looking at the playoff picture just real quick for all these teams. OMG with nothing to play for. They're all the way at near the bottom of the standings here. Nothing to play for there. JDG is still shooting for second place, so they're certainly going to try to pick up a win here to go 12-6. And give themselves, or 12-4, sorry, and give themselves the best possible chance of being in the top two. BLG, this is like pretty much must win for them. They could technically make it in with a loss here. Let's see, a loss here and then a win. And they would need LNG to lose. LNG's, let's see, if they lost here and then won their last matchup, let's assume they break even, then they would pass LNG if LNG loses their last matchup. LNG's last matchup is against Rogue Warriors. Okay, so BLG's got to win here because Rogue Warriors, LNG should beat Rogue Warriors, which is going to put them at 8-8. So BLG needs to win here probably to maintain their playoff race. Sunning, on the other hand, locked into the playoffs, no real way to move up. They could technically get to 10-6 and they could maybe compete up here somewhere, but it seems unlikely. So not a ton to play for them. BLG must win. Feels like an all-right spot to take BLG, but when you look at the stats, it's 1838 to 1793, plus 114 to minus 31. First blood advantage for Sunning. First turret's the same. Advantages in Dragon percentage, Herald percentage, and about 1,000 gold difference of 15 minutes. Sunning definitely a minus 385 favorite for a reason. But this is must win for BLG. Sunning doesn't necessarily need to care that much about this. I think BLG is at least a playable underdog, especially in the mid-size, small-size fields. You could definitely play some BLG. In the bigger, I feel like this is just a slate where you just don't want to play big field GPP. It just doesn't feel like a good slate for it. There's just not a lot of things you can do on this roster, especially with OMG's AD carry being out. I feel like that's actually a pretty significant difference maker. Blood-wise, JDG versus OMG definitely should be the higher one. We'll see when we get to the projections, but I'm guessing JDG and OMG are definitely going to be the highest expectation teams. The BLG Sunning matchup, BLG makes for the kind of playable underdog, I guess, on this slate. For ownership, it's definitely going to be JDG, Sunning, BLG, and OMG Blast. And OMG should be far last, I would think, on a slate like this. So it's not too exciting of a slate, to be honest with you. There's just like, do you want to take a shot on BLG, or do you want to stick mostly to cash or like very small fields where you try to take advantage of your Sunning JDG combination? Do you want to risk it on a couple OMG lineups in the huge field? Those are kind of really your only options on a slate like this. Looking at the projections, let's just leave all the teams for just a minute. So Sunning projects the best in the top lane, followed by BLG, and then OMG and JDG are next. In the jungle, OMG and JDG. In the mid lane, OMG, JDG actually last with Yagao. AD carry, it's JDG and Sunning. And at support, it's OMG and JDG again. So OMG and JDG generally the higher expectation teams on the slate. Some upside for Sunning. But really, it's probably coming down to the winner of JDG OMG being the bigger scorer. When you're looking at cash, You can get a Kanavi Captain 3/3. I'm assuming that at most positions, if not all positions, JDG is the more expensive, as they should be. Could you get an SOFM Captain with 4 JDG? Yes. It feels like that might be the play. You could also go just Zoom Captain with 4 JDG, but this feels like the play to me. SOFM Captain, 4 JDG players, 584. I wouldn't go with the 3/3. I know you guys probably are used to me talking about it, but I don't play the 3/3 unless there's some very significant reason to do so. This feels like the right version to me. You're not getting the captain from the team that you would like, but you are getting 4 JDG, which is likely to be the higher scoring of the two matchups by a decent amount, I think. So I think I would go with this. You could also go with the Zoom. Let's see, that's 584. If you go with the Zoom captain, then you can play Angel. Oh, they come out pretty close to the same because you get the upgrade from Yagao to Angel in the mid lane. You get the JDG people that you would want if you play it this way. But either way, I think the 4 JDG definitely the way to go in cash tonight. Just not a lot to say about this slate. Honestly, it's just not a super interesting one with two really big underdogs and only one of them that's even kind of viable. The cash lineup, I think, is pretty straightforward. So not too much to talk about tonight. Probably another kind of boring 2-gamer tomorrow, and then we'll move on to some sweet 4-gamers. And I get to finish out my Max Steinberg challenge. 8-6 at the moment. Just trying not to lose all 4 of the slates this weekend, and as long as I don't lose all 4, then we'll be in a position to at least tie or win the challenge. So that'll be all for now, guys. I will talk to you guys later, and good luck. Let's get some money tonight.